Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's all set. Wacren 2019 conference ready to kickstart. First of all, we thank God for life. And we also want to welcome everyone. In Ghana, we say Akwaba, right? So for our friends from other parts of the world who are visiting Ghana for the first time, we are saying Akwaba to you, to wait, welcome. And to our French friends, say bienvenue. Right. Thank you very much for getting seated on time, and we are so grateful for you joining us here this morning. First of all, we want to apologize that the president will not be here this morning with us. He's in the cabinet retreat in Koforidua. We also want to thank GARNET. I think GARNET deserves a round of applause.
Everyone. I'm old school. I was supposed to have a tablet, but I have a big laptop with me. Welcome to Ghana. Honorable Minister, Professor Kofi Akpagana, Minister of Higher Education and Research of the Republic of Togo, Professor Michel Filiga Sawadogo, Commissioner UEMOA in charge of Human Development, Professor Clifford Tagoe, Chair GARNET, Professor Narku Quaynor, Chair Wacren, members of the Wacren Board, Mr. Fabio Di Stefano, Head of Unit, DEFCO, European Commission, Engineer Isaac Kasana, representing the UbuntuNet Alliance, Dr. Youssef Tauman, Managing Director, ASREN, Mr. Erik Huizer, CEO GEANT, representative of governmental institutions, representative of the World Bank, representatives of international organizations, members of Wacren, partners, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Accra again. Welcome to Wacren 2019. First of all, I would like to thank you all to have found the time. One of the key topics to be discussed during our annual general meeting tomorrow. Before then, I hope you will enjoy the various presentations that the program committee has selected for you with excellent speakers. These presentations follow a two-day workshop of the LipSense program with distinguished and very experienced librarians from the UbuntuNet Alliance, ASREN and Wacren regions, and with peers from around the world. This workshop was followed yesterday by the Africa Connect 2 meeting and the public Wacren board meeting. Before ending my welcome remarks, I would like to thank our local host, GARNET, as well as our sponsors, Microsoft, Platinum sponsor, Glow, Gold sponsor, Main One, Gold sponsor, Exxon, Silver sponsor, ICANN and Indiana University, Bronze sponsors, as well as Vodafone, our connectivity sponsor. I wish you all an excellent conference and encourage you to use this opportunity for fruitful networking. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Mr. Barry. Now we'll hear from Professor Clifford Tagoe. He is the chair of GARNET and my former vice chancellor from the University of Ghana.
Thank you very much. And a very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to stand on the protocol established by the CEO of Wacren, because I don't have the list of everybody here. So, Chairman of Wacren Board, Professor Quaynor, members of Wacren Board here present, the CEO of Wacren, members of the GARNET Board, invited guests from around the world, our friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome all of you to the 5th conference of the West and Central African Research and Education Network, Wacren. In March last year, in the Togolese capital of Lomé, the Wacren Board nominated GARNET to host the 5th conference in Accra this year, almost to the day. That Ghana was selected as host of this conference, despite the young age of Wacren, of GARNET, and at a time that GARNET had neither a board nor an established secretariat, was a clear expression of the confidence the Wacren Board had that we could deliver. And thanks to the efforts of individuals at both GARNET and Wacren, it has been possible for us to gather here today for the 2-day conference in this very comfortable environment of the Marriott Hotel. So, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you that a substantive board of GARNET was inaugurated on the 7th of August last year by the Honorable Minister of Communication. The board has representations from the Ministries of Education and Communication, the Ghana Employers Association, and the tertiary and research institutions. There are also private individuals who are accomplished in the world of information technology and finance on the board. But prior to this, an interim board chaired by Professor Johnny Japon, now Vice Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, had worked hard to make GARNET a household name within the tertiary education subsector. The new board is very grateful for the efforts of Professor Japon and his team. Thanks to them, GARNET currently has 19 fully paid up members. These include both private and public universities. Vigorous efforts are also underway to bring on board the over 60 other degree awarding institutions in this country. Mr. Chairman, the board is putting in place structures for the establishment of a fully functioning secretariat and the appointment of a full complement of staff, including a full-time CEO. In connection with this, we stretch out our hand to our stakeholders to assist with initial funding for setting up the secretariat. GARNET has a future for the research and academic community in Ghana. A functioning secretariat will greatly galvanize the operations of GARNET in the spirit of the theme of this conference, beyond networks, services, and applications. Mr. Chairman, let me also indicate that at the moment, members are either connected or are in the process of being connected to the GARNET switch at the National Information Technology Agency, NITA, at the Ministry of Communications. We are currently updating the connectivity of member institutions, and for this, we have signed agreements with C Squared, a local organization of Google, Vodafone Ghana and MTN Ghana to provide connectivity to our members. In some instances, dark fiber will be provided. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, GARNET has also fully paid up our counterpart funding for the Africa Connect 2 project, thanks to the support from the World Bank through the Ministry of Communication. As a result, we are receiving traffic from Wacren at a negotiated cost. Mr. Chairman, I would end by registering the board's profound appreciation and thanks to the Network Startup Resource Center of the University of Oregon in the United States for the immense support given to GARNET. That organization assisted GARNET with equipment and training, which has indeed improved our network infrastructure and output. While we are grateful to the Wacren board for the opportunity to organize the 5th conference, we acknowledge Vodafone Ghana for providing, I believe, free internet services for the duration of the conference. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are most warmly welcome to Accra and Ghana. Those who are here for the first time, maybe you'll find time after the conference to see a few interesting sites. Those who have been here before, there's nothing wrong with seeing the things again. We wish you fruitful deliberations and a successful conference. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you to Professor Tagoe. Now we'd like to hear from our partners and various NRENs. So we have a tall list and beseeching us to be brief so we can give opportunity for other parts of the programs to roll. All right, so I'd like to hear from the African Association of African Universities, AAU. Okay, is the rep here to give us a goodwill message? All right, there he comes. Please put your hands together for him. Then the European Union Commission, please get ready.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to apologize on behalf of the Secretary General, who is unable to be present here because they are opening the North African Regional Office for the Association of African University in Egypt now. And I have to give the speech in his behalf. I want to also ride on the introduction given by the first 2 speakers and to continue with my speech. I want to read verbatim. I bring you the warm and fraternal greetings of the 400 plus members of the Association of African University spread across the 5 regions of Africa and across all major linguistic distributions on the continent, that is English, French, Arabic, and Portuguese. On their behalf and on behalf of all members of the Secretariat, I welcome delegates from the different higher education institutions from the Western and Central Africa, and from even more distant horizons to this Wacren 2019 meeting in Accra. Dear friends, Akwaba to Accra. Honorable Minister, other members of the higher board, your presence here for the official opening of this meeting, despite your extremely busy schedules, is indicative of your commitment to support the drive for a revitalized higher education sector that will drive Africa towards the realization of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. The AAU, that is the voice of higher education in Africa, joins hands with Wacren to convey appreciation also to GARNET and the government of the country, Ghana, for the support in making this meeting possible. The African Union has designated AAU to coordinate the higher education cluster of the Continental Education Strategy for Africa, popularly known as the CESA 1625, which aims to capitalize on the willingness of the many active players to mobilize financial, human, and technical resources within national, regional, and continental coalitions for education, science, and technology. Objective 3 of CISA is specifically exploring ICT capacity to improve access, quality, and management of education. The theme and sub-themes indicated of Wacren 2019 seems to me to be in support of the strategic objective. It confirms the importance of infusing quality into our systems by adapting ICT-based systems, processes, and procedures on our campuses. Early July 2019, the AU would be organizing a conference of rectors, vice chancellors, and presidents of African universities in Cairo, in collaboration with Al-Azhar University and Egyptian universities. The discussions would be around CISA 1625 and the role of higher education institutions in Africa. The AU is warmly extending a proud invitation to all who are interested in providing the human capacity to drive Africa to the African 2063 agenda, the Africa we want, and driven by constituents and citizens of Africa. I urge you all to seize this opportunity to establish, among other things, strong networks and get informed about educational products, platforms, and tools available to help improve the quality of your systems. I invite you all to participate actively in the debates during the different sessions and invest your expertise. On this note of hope, I wish you all a fruitful AGM and thank you for your kind attention. The Secretary General of AAU, Professor Etienne Ehile. Thanks very much.
Now we hear from the EU Commission. After him, the World Bank will continue. Please get ready.
Good morning, everybody. If I may, all protocols observed. Thank you. So I would like to thank the Ghanaian authorities and the Ghanaian Academic and Research Network for inviting the European Union to the 5th Annual Conference of Wacren. And I must say that it is a pleasure and also a privilege for me to represent the European Union today at the official opening of this important event. And the conference that starts today underlines the opportunities offered by digital technologies to address the priorities of many African countries, support economic growth and empowerment young people to enable them to find a job and be active citizens in their societies. In line with the Agenda 2063 of the African Union, which constitutes the strategic framework for the socio-economic transformation of the continent, I would like to underline that the European Union is also fully committed to support the efforts of the African countries in that direction. In September 2018, the European Commission proposed a new alliance with Africa for sustainable investment and jobs. This strategy is the first economic strategy for EU-Africa relations, and it seeks to boost job creation in Africa. In particular, this strategy recalls the importance of developing skills that are needed to match the labor market demands. In this respect, higher education is a critical sector to enhance human capital for the development of the countries, to have more engineers, teachers, medical staff, civil servants. But higher education in Africa faces some significant challenges, and in particular, the massification phenomenon due to demographic growth and the need to improve quality of education and relevance of qualifications to acquire useful skills and find a job. Addressing those challenges requires to significantly transform and modernize education and research system, and digital economy and technologies can help. As the European Union has underlined under the concept of digitalization for development, digital technologies are not the end in themselves, but they can play a critical enabling role by improving and accelerating the provision of public services in research, health, prevention of natural disasters, and other sectors. However, it should be reminded that such opportunities and the full use of the digital technologies are currently constrained by the very high prices of connectivity, in particular in West Africa. The Africa Connect, let's say 2, and there will be a 3. The Africa Connect 2 project, which is supported by the European Union, seeks to address this issue, in particular with the Wacren and with the other 2 regional organizations, UbuntuNet and ASREN, and with the key collaboration with the European sister, GEANT. The project aims at providing adequate and affordable connectivity to national research and education networks. Under the project, as it was already said, Wacren launched last year the first regional connectivity links between Accra, Lagos, and London. And more connection should soon become active. And the European Union is very proud of having supported and continue supporting this initiative. The development of the Wacren network and its interconnection with the other regional networks will go a long way in improving the collaboration between researchers, academic staff, and students in Africa, in Europe, and beyond. This collaboration also illustrates the importance of the partnership between Africa and Europe, a partnership which should go beyond development assistance to enable people of the 2 continents to work together to address common challenges. To conclude, I would like to encourage all African countries, and more particularly the other countries of the region covered by Wacren, to participate in such project. And I also would like to acknowledge the support that some countries are receiving at the national level by other donors like the World Bank and the French Agency for Development. So to participate in such projects that we promote with our partner countries and organizations, such as also the African Union. It is important to underline that Wacren is taking place this year in Ghana, and Ghana is a country which, as everybody said, is already connected to the backbone. And so users are able to benefit from increased opportunities for service and collaboration. And I think this conference will also be the opportunity to share some lessons learned and to demonstrate some benefits of this project in countries like Ghana. So thank you very much. I wish us fruitful discussions, and thank you everybody for your attention. Thanks.
Thank you very much, EU. The World Bank. Can we hear from the World Bank? Okay. Let's hear from UEMOA. Please put your hands together for him as he comes.
Alors, moi aussi, je fais l'économie du protocole qui a déjà été annoncé.
Like to follow the same protocol that has been done by the CEO of Wacren on behalf of the President of the UEMOA Commission, Mr. Brahma. I would like to thank all the personalities and authorities who are present here. The President has asked me to thank Wacren for this invitation and to thank the authorities of the Republic of Ghana to have accepted to host this very important meeting, knowing the implications and the challenges of this kind of organization of meetings. So the President of the Commission also wishes that we thank and we encourage the head office of Wacren, which is deploying all the necessary efforts for its objectives to be achieved. The work that Wacren is doing since its creation, namely the interconnection of the institutions of West and Central Africa through fiber optics with the rest of the world. This work is of great interest to the UEMOA in general and its member countries because this would enable higher education institutions and research centers to be interconnected among themselves and also with the rest of the world. UEMOA, as an example, has during the previous years invested a lot of billions, around 6 billion CFA francs for the benefit of the major universities of the 8 member countries, that is Benin, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo. And these investments were made within the framework of various projects, namely the project for the development of technology in communication, in higher education. But the benefits of this project were constrained by the insufficient adequacy of broadband and the extremely high cost that was claimed by the operators from these institutions. So when we stopped paying on behalf of these institutions, the universities were not able to bear the cost, and this project halted. So it is of great pleasure to us that with the Wacren project, things will get on in a more positive way and would be at a more cost-effective manner, where the prices of this infrastructure would be very low, and this would lead to the connectivity of our institutions among themselves and with the rest of the world. Let me say that when I was the Minister of Higher Education in my country, and Wacren contacted me on this issue, I think within 2 days we made a commitment and the necessary basic contribution that we needed to make was made. And I think it will be good that all member countries of UEMOA get committed in the same way, so that this project that Wacren is spearheading would bear fruit for all our countries and our higher education institutions. That is why, in concluding, I would wish, on behalf of the Commission, long life to Wacren and its leaders, and great success of this meeting in Accra, which is the annual conference and the annual general meeting. Thank you for your kind attention.
Sorry. We hear from UbuntuNet Alliance, and they will be followed by ASREN. UbuntuNet Alliance, okay? Please put your hands together for him as he comes. So ASREN, please get ready.
Distinguished guests, the leadership team of Wacren, the leadership team of GARNET, and all of you, distinguished delegates, good morning. My name is Isaac Kasana. It is my privilege to represent the board and the executive leadership of UbuntuNet Alliance. The acting CEO at the Alliance could not make it this time because the alliance is going through some transitions and has some urgent engagements to take care of, but he sends his very warm greetings. Also, the chairman of the alliance sends his very warm greetings. We really do appreciate what is happening in Wacren, and we certainly are looking very much forward to what happens here, causing a link between Wacren and the alliance. We all know that we have this shared dream of a transformed education and research sector on our continent. And we know that both Wacren and ASREN and UbuntuNet Alliance working together is crucial for that dream to be realized, so that we can share our different experiences and resources to make that transformation faster. I want to appreciate those who organized for welcoming us here and for making it comfortable for us to be here. For me, it's my first time in Ghana and in West Africa generally, but I didn't feel very different from how I feel when I'm in Uganda. So greetings once again. Thank you.
Thank you to Sir ASREN. Then we will hear from GEANT, our Europe partners.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I am Yusuf Orman representing ASREN. ASREN is the Arab States Research and Education Network. Is one of the member family of ASREN. I call ASREN African Family for Research and Education Network. Family, so I call Boubakar as my brother, and so I am your brother to all of you. However, I think I used to prepare myself for 1 minute speech, so it's very quickly back from last year and for this year. We see a lot of achievements in terms of connectivity, which has been mentioned very well and congratulated very well. But I would like to focus also on the other side that Wacren is achieving is related to services, and they're promoting and addressing the user side, which is at the end of the day our target to serve. So I'd like to also to congratulate my colleagues at Wacren first for their new staff, which are doing great. I saw the presentation yesterday of recent achievements and the plans for Wacren for the coming year, and I really appreciate that. And the other part that I need also to thank, I should have done that first. I would like to thank Wacren management and Wacren chairmanship, and the same for GARNET. Sorry. Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. And on behalf of ASREN chairman and ASREN team and ASREN community, I would like to first of all congratulate Wacren and the Wacren region for these achievements. The second thing I would like to send from my region is that we would like to send the best wishes for a successful conference. And the other thing that we need to send is we are committed to collaborate with Wacren, UbuntuNet Alliance, so that we can provide, we can have better, we can better serve our communities. So that's why I think that's my minute. Thank you.
Thank you, ASREN, for committing to collaborate with Wacren. Okay, now GEANT.
Thank you. I too like to join the protocol that has been observed by Dr. Barry. My name is Erik Huizer, and as CEO, I bring you the greetings and respect from GEANT. GEANT is the community of research and education networks in Europe, and the first international research and education network to connect to Africa. Thanks to the Ghanese authorities, to Wacren, GARNET, Africa Connect 2, and especially to my friend Dr. Barry for inviting me and for your cooperation with GEANT. Thanks to the EC for supporting us in connecting to Africa and cooperating with the African research and education networks. The mission of GEANT is to provide an open, innovative and trusted information infrastructure for the European knowledge economy
and to the benefit of society worldwide. That's why we work with African research and education networks and connect with them, because we think that is to the benefit of society worldwide. We do that by sharing technology, resources, and knowledge. And we do that by respecting people, national boundaries, and cultures. And in that spirit, we cooperate for building the capacity that is needed worldwide. I wish you all a very fruitful conference and I hope it will help to contribute to this goal and our mission. Thank you.
Thank you to GEANT for your immense support to Wacren. Now we hear from AFNOG. And after AFNOG has spoken, we'll hear from ICANN. AFNOG. Okay, please put your hands together for the lady coming up.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to Ghana. On behalf of AFNOG, Africa Network Operators Group, it's a pleasure and a privilege to give a message of support and best wishes to the organizers and participants of Wacren 2019. Africa Network Operators Group, called AFNOG, was established in 2000, and it's a technical capacity and community building organization for network operators and IT engineers from Africa investors, research institutions, government, industry, and civil society. We incubated a number of Africa Internet communities that is called AFSTARS, including AFRENIC, the Numbers Registry for Africa. AFNOG supported ASREN since 2007 in Abuja, Nigeria, and we are pleased with the NEREN Community's participation at Africa Internet Summit and AFNOG workshops. We are proud of the progress made by Wacren in rolling out its network and glad to see AFNOG instructors and former participants leading the engineering work at Wacren. Further, we are grateful to Wacren for supporting network engineers from REN institutions to participate in the Africa technical workshops. AFNOG wishes you more successes and hope you continue to give back to the community. Congratulations to Wacren, GARNET, and all stakeholders at this conference. We wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, AFNOG. Can we hear from ICANN? Okay, right after ICANN has spoken, we would like to hear from RENATER. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yaovi Atoun. I'm the Stakeholder Engagement and Operation Manager for Africa. With all the protocol observed, I would like to start by the greetings from Pierre Dandino, who is the Vice President for Stakeholder Engagement in Africa. He's currently attending one of our ICANN meetings. We have 3 public meetings every year, and then the current one is ending today in Kobe in Japan. And during that meeting in Kobe, various topics were discussed. And then we have many related to a new technology, emerging technology, and people are doing research for connecting more devices for various purposes. So we believe that networking will effectively improve research and collaboration among partners. ICANN has also a department focused on research to better serve the community while playing the role of global coordination for secure and stable internet. We would like to mention, for example, the GAAR project, Domain Abuse Activity Reporting, and the ITHI, Identified Technology Health Initiative. We'll have the opportunity to talk more about ICANN and this project during the session we'll have tomorrow morning. ICANN will continue his collaboration with academia and especially the research and education networks in Africa. It is also encouraging to see more and more participation from the academia in the ICANN community. Please note that the next ICANN public meeting will take place in Marrakech in Morocco next June. So we would like you to come to that meeting and also from now to join online for our activities. So with that, we wish you all a fruitful conference and we would like to thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you to RENATER. Right, let's put hands together for the lady coming.
Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, le protocole étant respecté par le Dr.
I also like to follow the protocol observed by Professor Barry.
Since quite a few years now, and we do support the young NRENs in the region. Indeed, having a strong network and services is key for sustainable development. It's key for global research, it's key for education, and it's key, of course, then for the future of our children. The Wacren family is very committed and has a substantial role here to play, not only for Africa, but for all of us on the planet. So, merci beaucoup, Wacren, and enjoy the conference.
Thank you too. Now let's hear from NEAAR. I hope I got it right. All right, thank you.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Ed Moynihan from Indiana University in the United States. I'm honored to be here on behalf of the NEAAR project, which is a U.S. National Science Foundation funded partnership between Indiana University, GEANT, Wacren, and UbuntuNet Alliance, and ASREN. We provide connectivity and services in support of U.S. and African science collaborations. I'd like to thank the Wacren leadership, the Wacren NRENs, the users, and all of you for the opportunity to be here. We've just, as part of NEAAR, established in the last month a peering between the US connectivity and the Wacren connectivity, and we're finally now starting to see traffic moving between West Africa and the United States. But as the theme of the conference says, the connectivity is just the start. We have to go beyond these networks to look at services, applications, usability, researcher support, etc. And I look forward to, over the next couple of days, having conversations with many of you on what some of these services are that are valuable to you and how the NEAAR project might help. Ultimately, I'd like to reaffirm our commitment to partnerships with Wacren and hopefully establish relationships that will thrive beyond the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you all, members, our partners, and those who have been supporting us in various ways for coming to show solidarity with us. We want to hear from the board chair of Wacren, and here's Professor Narku Quaynor. Let's hear from Prof.
Good morning, and thank you very much for the nice welcome. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, normally when we think the environment has become a bit too formal, we try to also make it informal. So if I say ASREN, I'd like you to tell me connected. ASREN.
ASREN. See, it feels much better for me. Thank you very much. So, I'd like to join in welcoming everyone to Wacren 2019. I'm delighted to know that we have delegates from all of Africa, Europe, US, and Asia, and recognize maybe a shade too tall here. I'm delighted to know that we have delegates from many parts of Africa, Europe, US, and Asia, and recognize the presence at very high level of our major funders, the European Commission, and thank you very much for that, and of our sister organizations, GEANT, ASREN, and UbuntuNet Alliance. We also recognize the presence of regional organizations, including UEMOA, that have an important role to play for the establishment and development of research and development networks in our region. This meeting is rather very special for Wacren, as it is the first time we have live traffic on our network between our members and the Global Research and Education Network. It has been a long journey to reach here, and some of our colleagues unfortunately did not live long enough to see the fruits of their labor, while several present today also did not see our humble beginnings. Nonetheless, we are all here to continue and advance our dreams of building research and education networks in Africa. The collaboration between ASREN, UbuntuNet Alliance, Wacren, and partners, GEANT, and other sister organizations around the globe seems to be yielding good results. We are very grateful and treasure all these contributions to networking in Africa. I wish to conclude with a confession. As some of you know, I am a practicing network engineer. On one hand, I was keen to hear progress of engineering work, but I was also anxious to get my hands dirty and do some of the real engineering. The Wacren and NREN engineers did not give me that chance. And they seamlessly resolved all issues and better than I would have. This tells me that the engineering team is mature and is very capable of taking good care of the infrastructure investments that you are making in us. Wacren wishes to thank all who helped our organization to achieve this. We also thank the government of Ghana that through the Vice Chancellor's Ghana VCG, Wacren has been offered a home. Let's keep the techie spirit high and let's have a good conference. Thank you very much for your attention. ASREN, let's have fun. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Prof, for leading us to have more fun here. Okay, this juncture, we want to hear from our sponsors, people, companies that have supported us in various ways, and we have them in various categories. I think 2 categories now. We have the platinum sponsor, that is Microsoft, and then we have 2 gold sponsors, that is Glow and Main One. We'd like to hear from all 3, and we'll start with the platinum sponsor, Microsoft. You have the rep here? All right. Please put your hands together for our platinum sponsor. Representing our platinum sponsor, Microsoft. So Glow should be ready, and then followed by main one.
Good morning, honorables invités en vos rangs et qualités, je vous dis bonjour. Honorable guests, my name is Rosso Diang, and I am the education lead for Northern, West, and Central Africa. I am very happy to be here and take part at the Wacren conference. I'm part of a strong delegation from Microsoft. You will have the opportunity to interact with them, and we have a booth outside, so don't hesitate. Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every student and every teacher all over the planet to achieve more. So if you want to learn more about this, don't hesitate and come to our booth. Later tomorrow, you'll have a presentation of two of our specialists, Jay and Claudia, and you will have an idea about our cloud-based solutions. We are not alone. We bring also 4 partners, 4 of our best partners in the region. I'm talking about eSolution, SIS, Campus Management, and Eiffel Tower. So don't hesitate and just go and discuss with them. So we'll be able to help you in the digital transformation journey. I wish you a very fruitful conference. Thank you.
Thank you to a rep from Microsoft. Now, Glow. Can we hear from Glow? Okay, put hands together for him, please.
Hello, good morning to everyone. My name is Erik. I'm the Vice President Sales for Glow. We are very happy to be part of Wacren as a gold sponsor. And just to let you know what we can do, Glow can do and Glow can offer to support the cause of Wacren. In Ghana here, Glow owns a fiber optic cable scattered across the whole country. We have interconnections with our partners in Burkina Faso. We have interconnections with our partners in Togo. Some of our partners are here, Togo Telecom. We have also interconnections with our partners to Abidjan. In Nigeria, we also own our own fiber optic cable. And what we are currently doing now in a way of supporting the cause of Wacren is that we are laying fiber to all the tertiary institutions in Ghana and in Nigeria, just to support the cause of Wacren. When it comes to our cable network, that is the Glow 1 submarine cable, we have connectivity, singly owned connectivity, all the way from Lagos to London. We also have the same from Accra to London. We have 16 branching units across Africa. And we have the lowest latency on the market, which means that we connect directly through undersea cable from Accra or Lagos straight to London. We don't do any terrestrial in between. Like I said, we have a booth outside. We are so much committed in helping the cause of Wacren, and we wish that this conference will achieve the purpose of which it was set up for. Thank you very much.
Main one. Okay, please put your hands together for him. He's coming.
Good morning to all, and welcome to Ghana. All protocol observed. This morning I've had the opportunity to interact with quite a number of people, I'm sure, from different parts of the region. And there's one thing that I got hold of, but I'll put that at the end of my speech. On behalf of the board and management of Main One, we want to say thank you to Wacren, because they gave us the opportunity to work with them. They gave us the opportunity to start the first connection to London. and we are happy for that. We are glad that they gave us that opportunity. We continue to work with Wacren and in building the rings into the other countries, especially those in the landlocked countries, which is a bit of a tough one for them. MNEAAR continues to build new infrastructure. We're currently building into Dakar and in Abidjan. Where we're landing there, we have connectivity there, and we'll do some data centers there. So we'll continue to support, and then we will continue to work with Wacren, even in terms of being able to host services for them in these regions. MNEAAR understands the importance of the RENs, innovation, and then what Wacren is all about. So we will continue, like I indicated, to support them and to work with them. Currently, MNEAAR works spans across 10 West African countries where we have connectivity in all these places. So once we grow and build the network, it will be good to continuously look at where we can have handshakes and where we can support to make this one a great one. We will be around today, tomorrow. We will be down there. I have a few goodies for you. So those who haven't come for their goodies, please make sure you come for it. And then we want to say congratulations to Wacren. We wish them well. It's a long journey. We are nowhere yet. And then we'll continue to be a major supporter all the way through the journey. So thank you.
How would you feel if you have a sponsor telling you that they are going to support you throughout the journey? You feel good, right? Okay. Thank you very much, our sponsors, Microsoft, Glo, and MNEAAR. Just to let you know, we are streaming live on YouTube. So for your counterparts, your colleagues who couldn't join us here, please you can tell them to search Wacren 2019 conference. We're streaming live on YouTube and giving updates on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'd now like to hear from the board chair. He's going to formally open Wacren 2019 conference. Shall we invite Professor Quaynor?
Thank you very much again. I must say I'm quite excited to have seen the very varied and very supportive comments from all around, and we thank you very much for that. Well, we've reached a stage where we must now declare the conference open, and so it is an honor for me to do that, and so the Wacren Conference 2019 is formally open. ASREN.
Right, so we'll now move straight into our discussion, and we will thank Professor Tagoe and the other two gentlemen. Please kindly take your seat here, and then we'll have Mr. Erik Huizer from GEANT join Professor Quaynor and Dr. Barry upstage here for the discussion. Okay, thank you very much. Please put your hands together for them as they take their seats. Thank you. So Mr. Erik Huizer will join them. And now I'll hand over to Dr. Barry.
Okay, good morning again. This will be a short discussion to start our conference. Just to put us in the, in the move, in the spirit, of this conference, we thought it would be good to hear from two distinguished members of our community, namely Erik Huizer and Professor Quaynor. Both of them have been recognized at global level, for working towards, a better world through the use of ICT and especially research and education networks. Incidentally, both of them were inducted in the Internet Hall of Fame the same year. And we are delighted to have them here for them to share with us, some of their reflections, what they think about, Research and Education Network and, about the future, of research and education networking. I will start with introducing Erik. Erik is CEO of GEANT since 2017. And before joining GEANT, he was CTO of SURFnet, the Dutch National Academy. From 2008 and 2007, Erik was Managing Director for the Information Science and Space Technology Division at TNO, the Netherlands Organization for Applied Scientific Research. And for over 30 years, he has been involved in education and research networking, internet standardization, and internet governance. For his contributions to the internet, he has been inducted into the Internet Hall of Fame in 2014. And in 2015, he was honored with the title of Dutch ICT Personality of the Year. I think if I continue talking about Erik, so you will take the whole session. So I will stop there. And I will move to Professor Ni Quaynor. Ni is an engineer, and he studied actually abroad at Stony Brook, New York, in the 70s. And after graduation, he worked with DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation, in the US, but decided as a senior engineering manager, but decided to come back home to Ghana, Africa, and he set up the first internet service provider company here in Ghana. Ni is actually known as the father of the internet in Africa, but he's not so old. We call him father of the internet in Africa. Ni is convener of the African Network Operators Group, AFNOG. This is a network technology transfer institution since 2000. And he's also the founding chairman of AFRENIC, the African Numbers Registry. He's also chairman of Wacren, as you know, and chairman of the Council of Elders of Africa CERT, Emergency Response Teams. He remains the chairman of Ghana.com, an internet and blockchain software company, and a professor of computer science at University of Cape Coast in Ghana. So he was a recipient of the Internet Society's prestigious Jonathan Postel Service Award and was also inducted with Erik the same year in the Internet Hall of Fame. He has received also a lot of awards. So if I go through all these awards, I think we'll go to the second session. So I will stop there with the presentations. So Erik, please, you have been in this, let's say, business of research education networking for over 30 years. So how did you get into, this community? Just briefly.
Well, I, as a very young, just finished my PhD, I started working at SURFnet, the Dutch Research and Education Network. And my first task was to harmonize email. At that point in time, we had different email systems, an IBM email system, a DEC email system, etc. And so we dived in, and I found that, you know, Internet Mail RFC 822 seemed to be a very nice solution. And then I found that there was an IETF in Cambridge in the United States. So I went there, and I remember I entered the hotel, and there was FinServ. And of course, even then I knew who FinServ was, the father of the internet at large. And Finn said, welcome, and he said, what are you doing here? And I explained to him, and he said, well, we're going to have dinner. Are you coming with us to have dinner? And I was very honored, of course, and I said yes, and I quickly went to my room, dropped my bag, and I got back downstairs and got into a cab with him, and I turned around, and on the back seat was FinServ, John Postel, and Steve Crocker. And I think the rest is history. From then I was sold, and I was involved in building internet technology, but certainly I spent most of my time, not as much on the technology, I spend a lot of time on the technology, but I spend a lot of time in de-Americanizing the ITF. Sorry, Ed. But when I came into the ITF, the standards body from the internet, it was very American. It was fully centered on the US. And so I put in a lot of effort in opening it up to the rest of the world, making sure that we had trainings for people to participate, making sure we had ITFs outside of North America. I organized the first one outside of North America in Amsterdam in '93. And that was, I felt that was needed to make sure that the internet became a truly global network.
Thank you. Nee, yes. Can you tell us how you came into the whole thing of REN, of the REN business?
Well, in my case, I did study in distributed systems, and I worked for a then prevailing network company called Digital Equipment Corporation, and I used to build CPUs, fault-tolerant systems, distributed systems for high availability, and so forth. And I decided to come and perhaps address the digital divide by building networks in Ghana. And so when I returned, I began to operate enterprise networks based on the DECnet protocols. Of course, then we saw the internet coming, and this around '93 I'm referring. So we moved our network from the proprietary network onto the TCP/IP, and then comes the part of my involvement in the REN area. USAID decided to sponsor a connectivity for University of Ghana, and this was in 1999. So the act of dropping a link at the University of Ghana to trigger the activity which has resulted in GARNET became how I got involved in the REN business in a practical way here.
Maybe as a follow-up question, Erik mentioned IETF, and that he worked a lot, to get other part of the world involved in the work on IETF. How do you see African participation in IETF, and what could be the role of NRENs in Africa, to get more participation in IETF activities?
There is some beginning participation by Africa in IETF, but these are centered around the NICs and the NOGs, meaning within the AF-Star community, there are well-known people who participate. In fact, Wacren has such personalities. The real way, in my opinion, to increase that participation is for us to practice more the methods that are applied at IETF in addressing issues in our environment. In other words, you need to understand how you move documents forward. We need to understand how you describe things precisely and without unnecessary words. And we need to understand how we can maybe not agree on some things, but agree on some things, which means that you need to have a certain method by which documents mature and they work their way forward. And we need to practice some of those things within our communities, and that would be the best preparation ground, in my opinion, in being good contributors in IETF.
Thank you. Come back to you, Erik. GEANT is a very advanced regional network, covering, the whole of Europe and other countries. If you could, can you share with us, how GEANT has evolved, in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, and what were the challenges, to bring GEANT where it is today?
I would say that is exactly in line with what NEAAR just said. It is the willingness to work together and to share each other's resources. And the biggest hurdle to overcome is that mostly, new countries come in thinking about their national interest, not realizing that it is in their national interest to share with the others, because you're not just giving away something. If you're sharing, you're receiving all the resources of all the research and education networks all over the world. So to get people to see that sometimes takes some time, but it's worth the effort. If a university attaches to a regional education, a national education and research network like GARNET, and GARNET connects to Wacren, and Wacren connects to GEANT, to Red Clara, to Internet 2, Asia Connect, etc. That means that that university, the moment it connects, it is sharing its resources with the rest of the world, but it's at the same time it's offering its students and its researchers access to researchers all the way in Australia, in Europe, and that's what I think distinguishes research and education networks from commercial networks, because we are capable of making sure the sharing is not just bits and bytes, but it's sharing of resources and people and knowledge.
Thank you. Erik said it, the challenge we may have, or we have, is that, for people to come together to share, there must be trust, because you are bringing something that you make available to others. What is your experience, if building the communities, in the Wacren region or in Africa in general? Because without trust, there is no way that we can get people putting their resources together to share.
Trust is something that we earn as we engage. But invariably, folks have to learn that whatever they think they have is not property. It's something that belongs to us. It's public good. Okay. And if we first accept that it's public good, then the proprietary or property nature of the thing goes away, and it really opens the door for us to be able to frankly, share. And sharing means that both sides gain. Sharing here means that I have an idea, I drop it there. It may be very stupid, but nonetheless, it's good that it's there. Then we know that that's not the right thing. So nobody loses in any of these things. But the main thing is we have to let go of our feeling that this is ours. There's nothing like somebody's thing. This is community good. And if we accept that, the rest of it is just the normal, let's have a beer, you know. And then if there are some, you know, nooks and crannies, we begin to resolve them. But at least you need to have a method of a strong moderator who maintains issues list, okay, and knows which ones are below the line and which ones can be worked on. And that way, then we can advance the ideas, which are often in documents. And so that would be the kind of recommendation I can give.
Sure, thank you. As you said, you know, we have to consider it as public good and share. I used to say that 1 + 1 is not 2 because it's 1 + 1 is 3. Because if you say 1 + 1 is 2, you divide by 2, you get your 1 back. But if it is 3, you get more.
Sometimes it's 5. Sometimes it's 5.
Okay, sometimes it's 5, but at least 3. Yeah. Erik, as I said earlier, GEANT is has a very advanced network. Can you share with us, you know, as we are building our networks and, you know, start implementing services, what are your core services you are concentrated in right now in GEANT for your community?
Okay, before I do that, let me point out that the UK is currently doing the biggest experiment in human history in renegating on a deal, right? So where you had 1 + 1 was 27, they are now going back to being all alone, and we'll see what the consequences of that are. The funny thing is, of course, they don't know themselves what the consequences are. What is GEANT concentrating? Well, we have various things. Of course, the network itself needs to evolve all the time, and thanks to a gracious grant of the European Commission, we will be implementing a new network over the upcoming 4 years. Trying to put fiber into almost every nook and cranny into Europe, and that's not just the European Union, that's 40 countries in Europe, so we're bigger than the European Union. Which also means that GISC, the UK Research and Education Network, will still be a member of GEANT. They won't leave us with the Brexit. But what is more important than the bits and the bytes is, of course, connecting people. So what we are spending a lot of effort on currently is trust and identity. And we, over the years, have built a system, a global federated system of identities called EduGain, which is used in many, many countries all over the world, and which allows students and researchers with one identity they get from their local institution to access resources all over the world. And a prime example of that is EduRoam, which is also available in this room, where you can just log on with your home identity onto a Wi-Fi network wherever you are. So that is a very essential service that we are expanding on and building on and helping researchers to use that and to optimize that in accessing large research infrastructures like the LAC in CERN, etc. What we find on top of that is that researchers need a lot of storage. They're gathering more and more data, and they need a lot of compute. So we're providing that, but at the same time we are procuring that, because the commercial world is really good at providing low-cost storage, etc. So what we do is we procure on behalf of all the countries in Europe, 50 million users, we procure capacity from large providers like AWS, Google, Microsoft, but also from smaller ones. And we don't procure only on price. Price is important, of course, getting it as low, but also on conditions. What conditions will the data be stored? How will privacy be guaranteed, etc., etc. So that is also very important for our researchers. So that's the other point we work on. And last but not least, working with the community. And I mean, it's not just, it's training, it is making sure that we meet with special interest groups, it is meeting with task forces, it is making sure that all the technicians in our community and all the other people in our community are getting to know each other, thereby establishing the trust that is necessary so that we can connect, in the end, the people and not just the computers.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Maybe a follow-up question, still to you. We at Wacren, we are in a, at the stage where we start, having services portfolio to provide to our members. And of course, we have to, to see what the needs are, to our members, what is relevant to them, so that we don't sit, on resources, that are not taken by, by a community. Did you experience, or do you experience at GEANT, the challenge of getting members subscribed to services you have in your portfolio?
I wish I could say no, but unfortunately, yes. Of course, you've always have members who want to do cherry picking and say, I want this, but I don't want that, and but then I get back. Well, I get back to what Nee said earlier. This is a public good, and you, in that you have to share the whole. You can't just say, I let all the other ones pay for that one, but I will do something else. Then we are not achieving the goal. And I think, if I may be as pretentious, I think, humanity is facing some really serious problems. An enormous growth of population, climate change, scarcity of materials, scarcity of energy, scarcity of food. We need to address these, and that means that all researchers in the world need to work together, build on each other's ideas, stand on each other's shoulders to really make sure that we as humanity can face these things. And the only way they can communicate and exchange these ideas is if we provide our services in the right way to them. And that's why I think we should try and avoid as much as possible of universities or RENs opting out on some of the services. I mean, we want Addo to be everywhere, and that everybody can move everywhere to negotiate or to co-research, co-work without having problems because one institute didn't participate or something like that.
Excellent, thank you. Nee, I'll be asking you one question, and don't throw it back to me and say it's my job or my work to to think about it. We know where GEANT is today. So where do you see Wacren, in the next 10 years? And how do you see the role of NRENs in our region or in Africa in general, for contributing to development of our society?
Okay. Out in this region, we work with a number of international organizations. Typically, for example, in the scientific community, we work with Trieste, Centro Fisica, okay, International Center for Theoretical Physics. Many of our scientists do collaborate there. I myself used to collaborate there and also with CERN. You have already funded an activity on IoT lab at one of the universities within GARNET, okay? And this was established by someone from CERN who took his vacation to come. So, meaning there's already laid out collaborations that exist within certain scientific communities, and those are the ones I'm looking to see strengthened. I imagine that there are similar ones in the area of social science of networks, which are occurring in the US and Asia, regarding how networks, human networks evolve. It is in these sort of collaborations that we must plug ourselves and be part of, meaning we're going to have to move away from network engineers and network engineers only. We're going to have to move towards the domains, okay, the different groupings, so that if there's a National Science Foundation project ongoing, folks will be able to find collaborations in Africa that will benefit, whether it is climate change, and related problems, or it happens to be related to seismic type of research. No matter what it is, we want to make it possible and organic that researchers can find themselves, okay, and create the right synergy using our platforms and networks to be able to do their research work, from producing the project's definitions to actually doing the various measurements and sending data all over. We used to carry data on flights. Now, I mean, I'm so glad we don't have to do that. And I think I like to see our, researchers begin to really make use of our networks in this sort of way, in the long run. Meaning, I wouldn't want to go to specific applications and so on, but I want to posit a general message that now that we've got a fabric going, we have no excuse. We have to now find the people who will use it to work with their colleagues globally to address global issues. Many of the issues hitting us now cannot be done in a snapshot by taking measurements in one area. It has to be done simultaneously and continuously, and discussions and so on. So that's a very important thing. The second thing that concerns me is narrow. Computer science is a bit under threat now. We keep encumbering, finding ethics issues, okay, that need to be addressed. And I hope we're able to put enough attention on those things so that it does not weigh us down in this objective I've defined.
Thank you very much. Interesting discussion, but we have to end it somehow and very soon. So maybe a last word, Erik, some thoughts or recommendations, or how you see, the future of REN.
Yeah, if you permit me, my view on what is happening in Africa, as a final, I see a lot of really good engineers. I see a lot of dedicated and passionate people in the African Research and Education Network world. But I see a major hurdle, and that is telecom monopolies in many African countries. And I urge all governments in Africa to look at those monopolies. Either do away with the monopoly, or if you want to keep the monopoly, make sure that you regulate that rents in the country get a special deal and get access to affordable bandwidth, because that is a major hurdle. I'm fully confident that you guys are capable of working on all the services, the training, the capacity building. That's in your own remit, you can do that. But breaking the monopolies, that you can't do that. And that's where we need political help. And I really urge all African authorities to work on that, because it's for the greater good of society, I would say.
Thank you, Erik. Nee?
Okay, I agree with Erik. We have very similar interests here. What I might say to complement is that when global organizations are formulating projects, they should also bear in mind that we can contribute in those global projects. And this is not necessarily in the networking area, but in general, in the academic research work, that our participation can enrich these projects. In other words, let's not be an afterthought. Let us be, with the team right from the very beginning, so that we can really solve these, global problems that we are faced with. And I think that would be the best message I can give.
I completely agree with that, Nee.
So, thank you very much. I think it was a very interesting discussion, and I would like to request that you join me to thank our panelists and to give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Barry for moderating the session. Now we'll have 20 minutes break, but this is what we're going to do with the break. We'll have a group photograph. down there. The usherites will lead us to the garden just down there. And all of us, we are pleading that all of us should be in the photograph so that we can have something memorable to always keep. And then we would come up here for tea break. So all that within 20 minutes. Then we'll come here for some plenary sessions. Thank you.
it's time to go beyond. Beyond networks. Meeting connectors hosted across the region to facilitate communication, collaboration, and teaching, learning, and research. Beyond laboratories, enabling the high-speed connections and instrumentation which allow open science communities to thrive. Beyond limitations, investing in cybersecurity frameworks to encourage collaboration and end-user education while maintaining the security of our assets. How can we help you go beyond? Beyond boundaries, networks, limitations, expectations, classrooms, gender, divisions. Welcome to Wacren 2019. How has Wacren enabled you to unleash your potential? This year, it's time to go beyond. Beyond networks, building the applications and services that will help you unleash your potential and go beyond. Beyond boundaries, developing cloud-based video conferencing services with meeting connectors hosted across the region to facilitate communication, collaboration, and e-learning. Beyond classrooms, bringing librarians and scholars together in communities of practice to build network repositories to support teaching, learning, and research. Beyond laboratories, enabling the high-speed connections and instrumentation which allow open science communities to thrive. Beyond limitations, investing in cybersecurity frameworks to encourage collaboration and end-user education while maintaining the security of our assets. How can we help you go beyond? Beyond boundaries, networks, limitations, expectations, classrooms, gender, divisions.